Hello, I'm an Floating Head here, and welcome to The Walking Dead Survival Instinct.
Now I know what some of you are thinking.
I never heard of this game before, which I don't blame you. After being released back in 2013, after the great success of Telltale's The Walking Dead game, the company behind the hit TV series at the time, AMC, decided to release a game about the backstory of one of its most beloved characters, Daryl Dixon, trying to ride off the hype around both Telltale's game and the love for Daryl. With Activision as the game's publisher and Terminal Reality at the helm of development, they spat out this game, having sold just over 300,000 units over 4 platforms. Wait, is that the fucking Wii U? With having a hit TV series behind its back, the amount sold is terrible. The Last of Us and GTA 5 came out that same year, and with a company like Activision behind it, you think it would be good, right? Well, let's look at some. Oh no, oh god, no! After having a 3-year run on Steam, it was delisted from their store and can no longer be bought there unless you find a code on a third-party website, but I have covered enough about the background of this game, so let us begin.
Lock your daughters up, y'all. Dixon boys just rolled into town.
So, I need to cover a few bases here, and some of the game mechanics. Upon starting a new game, a screen will show you relics. I, being an obsessive lunatic, have all of them, but for anyone starting the game anew, would be locked. Relics are special unlocks that are awarded to players for completing the game under certain terms, allowing them to start the game new with a certain condition. In order to go from area to area, you need to travel by car, where you can find better cars throughout the game. There are 3 ways to get to each area: backroads, streets, and highways. Backroads consume more fuel, but provide additional scavenging opportunities, while taking highways conserves fuel, but bypass scavenging opportunities. Streets, on the other hand, are right in the middle. Random events can happen while traveling, such as running out of fuel, scavenging chances, or a mechanical issue with the vehicle, all of which are based on RNG. Before entering town, you'll have to prepare yourself and the survivors. Manage your inventory and figure out what you will be carrying and what will stay behind. Each survivor can be given a weapon and a task to complete. This task can be stay at the car, look for food, look for ammo, or look for fuel. And finally, we have the grappling system. Oh god, the grappling system. More on that later. Time to start a new game. I'll be following this guide by Kenny Krieger? I don't know. I'll be following this guide throughout this entire video as I usually try to speedrun this game. Emphasis on the try, which I will elaborate later. This takes place in the great state of Georgia, where you start off doing what any normal Georgian is doing. Hunting. Hunting with your great buddy Jess and, Buck. Surely nothing will go wrong, right? Oh no, not that! Oh wait, there he is. That's right, we're playing as Daddy Dixon. Oh, and Jess got chomped on. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything. Hey look, a reference. And opening theme with titular cursor. After picking up a knife, some yummy hydration drink, we talk to Jess, who tells us we have to leave, and there are a bunch of walkers outside. But first, we need to grab some fuel. So let's do that. Just gotta punch my way through a bunch of walkers, grab a few jerry cans, and get the hell out of here. Off to Sedalia. Taking the highways as the guide recommends, we make our way to Sedalia. Unfortunately, we cannot drive through town. We are low on fuel, so it's my job to grab some. Quickly sending Jess off to find some fuel for the old truck. Passing through the pharmacy, picking up a few drinks, and making our way through the convenience store, avoiding the walker hiding around the corner so we don't get grappled. We get to talk to Warren. He tells us that his uncle, Mo Lester, has the keys on him to start off the gas pumps, but he is in the trailer park around the corner. Should be a piece of cake. Just have to jump over the car and... well, we set off the alarm and alerted everything around us. But luckily, I have my trusty hydration drink to help me recover my stamina to make it back to the gas station. But before I start up the pumps, little crybaby Warren wants to talk to us and to take him with us, which Daryl agrees. Turning the pump on causes everything in the area to hear it, even the police officer on the roof. But ignoring all that, we fill up the jerry can with some yummy gas and quickly run back to get to Jess. Just have to climb this ladder and... well, that's alright. Well, people don't actually know about Daryl. He's a parkour expert. So he is easily able to get around just by jumping and run back to the truck to Jess. Hey look, Warren is here. Off to Garwater. Remember how I said earlier that I would try to speedrun this game, but would never finish a run? Well, this is the exact mission that ruins my run every time. Jess is upset that there is a cop and isn't looking too good. Thankfully, this cop doesn't know the Dixons, but he can offer a ride as he's got a full house. It says there is a ranger up on the hill with an empty car, who should be able to give us a ride. Looking around the campsite, looking for some fuel as the guy suggests, but nothing. I got nothing. Look, there's the ranger's car, but no ranger. Hurrying up the hill to the ranger station to look for Ranger Hartwell, we finally reach there. But looking around, there is no one here until the radio goes off with a girl trying to contact the ranger. Oh god, there! With the ranger dead, we can enter his office, grab the keys, and 2 grenades. Now, my luck throughout this run was not the best, which certainly comes into play now as a horde of walkers surrounds the station and begins to swarm me. Now, to introduce you to the game's grappling system. If you get too close to a walker, it has a chance of grappling you, placing you into a QTE, in which you have to hit the sweet spot to stab it in the head. Seems easy, right? Wrong. It is the most difficult part of the game. Not just because the walkers rubber band to grapple you, even if they aren't anywhere near you. Not just because that if you get caught and a swarm is around you, you're just stuck in a grapple fest the whole time. But it's the fact that if you're using a mouse, you need to throw your hand all over the place just to hit that sweet spot. Just take a look. Now that's settled, let's get back to it and show you how I lose every speedrun of the game. Once we finally get past all that, we can see Jess waiting by the ranger's truck for us. So let's get in and... Oh god damn it, not again! With Jess dead, we head off to Fontana with Warren in search for our brother Merle. Upon entering Fontana, you see that the town is blocked off and a giant horde of walkers populates the town. Running through the alley, doing some parkour to get a shortcut past some walkers. We make it to a diner where 2 survivors are hiding from a pack of walkers, quickly dispatching them with the grenades. I may have already used them to get out of the ranger station, so I just used a gun here. So now we get to meet Anna, but people call her Scout, and Noah, who was shot in the leg by some crazed sniper at the police station. She tells us about Mia, a member of her group across the way. But we don't care about her, so instead, we will just run through the walkers on the street, create a COD Zombies train, and make our way inside the police station to look for Merle. Running through the station, we make our way to the jail cells, finding one empty and no Merle in sight. With this, Daryl gathers that Merle is the crazed sniper on the roof of the station. Rushing up the flight of stairs, we reach the rooftop, in which Merle, in his crazed state, tries to shoot us through the door. He opens the door after some light convincing, and he is burnt to a crisp.
Them people locked me up for days.
Whoa, Mo, what do you mean by them people?
I'll tell you the day, Mr. Yo. It's the day I take orders from...
With this, the mission ends, and we make our way to Claiborne. Now, with Claiborne, there isn't much I can say about this mission, other than you have to memorize the layout of it, because it's basically a maze. Running through this hospital, you have to avoid small groups of walkers, getting stuck on trying to run away, and walkers bursting out of doors grappling you. The reason we are here is to get Merle some drugs for whatever reason he believes might be making him sick. Totally not the fact that he was cooking on the roof like a shrimp on the barbie. Once we get inside, we find Noah, the guy Merle shot while on the roof, after Scout brought him here. But he doesn't have the drugs here for us, so I guess it's running time. What the hell? Falling through the roof of the hospital doesn't cause any problems for us. And we find out there are more people inside. So it looks like it's my job to run around some more. Eventually we end up in what seems to be a surgical room of sorts, in which we find Noah again and
Dowdle.
She's trying to use Noah as a live test subject for a test, and Daryl has a choice between siding with Dowdle or to save Noah. Now, in speedruns, you're just meant to let Noah die for time, but my dumbass decided to save him, and I couldn't go back to change this. I just had to kill some walkers, save Noah, who somehow grabbed the exact medicine we needed, and make another mad dash to the end of the mission.
I'm fast as fuck, boy.
Next up, Lemon Hill. Having stopped at Lemon Hill, Mel concocts a plan to somehow stop a horde of walkers from going to the biker bar that he plans on visiting. With a guy telling us to grab the gas next to the dumpster. Only two? Great. Time to rush off and run through this store to find Mel, where you can start the cutscene by talking to him through the window.
What you got?
Hey, looky here.
The Mel tells us the town was ready for a fireworks show, and he comes up with a plan to use these fireworks to create a diversion. And Daryl says he could rig them in the church to draw in as many walkers as possible.
Bang goes the dynamite.
Collecting all the bundles of fireworks, climbing onto the roof, doing some more parkour, we make it to an apartment. Oh look, a baseball bat.
Back to it.
Climbing across the bus, going through the bar, and cutting through the graveyard, we make our way into the church. Placing the bundles on the ground, climbing up the ladder, we ring the church's bell. With the walkers drawn in, we light the fireworks and escape through the window to get back to the car. We're off to Barksdale. Welcome to Barksdale, the town that Merle was leading us to the whole time to meet up with his biker friends. For this mission, having less items in your inventory can actually help during this run. Merle doesn't have much to say and vanishes without a trace. Weaving our way through the streets to the Barksdale saloon, we hear gunshots as we find Merle inside interrogating a biker and getting his drug stash back. But he's got a gift for us, the iconic crossbow. But things go sideways and Merle flees as Daryl is knocked unconscious.
Come on, grab all the shit. We gotta get to Merle before we can ride.
Waking
my
up,
blade?
we find everything we
took
had is
everything?
missing. Thankfully, we find a knife wedged inside a dead walker and... oh no, not again! With him dead, we finally grab the crossbow. Wow, how iconic. Going after Merle, we cut through a liquor store, into some back alleys where we hear distant gunshots, killing some walkers with the crossbow, we end up finding our stuff. And the aftermath of the gunfight that happened between Merle and the bikers. Grabbing our stuff, Daryl shoves his way through the store to get back to the car. Unfortunately, we have someone to save. It's Scout, the girl from the diner, making this the second time we've saved her ass. She hitches a ride with us to our next destination in search of her father, Lafferty. This location and the next are just mad dashes and are super quick, so these missions are the quickest to get through. At Lafferty, we stop to get supplies with Scout, saying that someone might be inside, so Daryl should look around and get out quickly. Turning the corner, we see a movable car surrounded by walkers. Just have to move the car and do some more Daryl parkour. Hey, it's Noah, the guy we saved at the hospital, but he is useless, so we press on and rush through punching walkers in the head. To get grabbed again by another walker, and jumping over a car to get to the end of the mission, in which we see a military convoy on the horizon. Off to Pokesville for another mad dash. Another night mission, and Scout is having second thoughts about being out here, but Daryl doesn't care. So, Scout calls him a slur, and he leaves. But in his bout of sadness about being called a hillbilly, he slips off the ladder and slams his head into the ground and breaking his walkie. But Daryl quickly fixes it and tries to get in touch with Scout, but she doesn't respond.
Hey, it's me, Goku!
We rush through the trains to get to the supply train when we see a helicopter hover over us, surveying to see if they can pick us up, but aren't able to, as a horde of walkers begins to approach. Merle is heard over the walkie, talking shit and giving instructions on how to escape the train yard.
Cut through that car in front of me. Right, stupid, right.
When we reach the end, we look for Merle, but Scout says that he's not up here, and Daryl, in a daze, explains he heard him over the walkie, but the walkie is broken and doesn't even have batteries. Wait, another reference! Time to take Scout to the next location, in search of her dad, off to Sherwood. We find her dad. She calls me a hillbilly again, and throws me a red bandana, which can be seen in the show, as everything in this game must be a reference and has a connection to the TV series. We rush into the town, heading towards the old couple's house to talk to them. which gives us more references to the series, as they are Amy and Andrea's parents, who came here to look for them. The old guy tells us about a guy named Aiden, who can help us get a helicopter evac to get us out of here, who lives across the street. We head across the street to where he is said to be, but only his wife is there, and she says he is at the mechanic shop. Getting over there, we see him on the pharmacy's roof. But ignoring him, we rush to the mechanics to pick up a duffel bag that is needed to progress with Aiden. Meeting him on the rooftop, we give him the bag, which is used to signal the helicopters for evac. But first we need to get back and get Aiden's wife and the old couple. As a quick way to get off the roof, we do some more Daryl parkour and jump off. As we get back to his wife and the old couple, we hear him over the walkie that the helicopter has come, but are leaving without them. As we hear his struggles, we make our way to the back of Jane's house to help her escape from the walkers swarming her, sealing the fate of the old couple. Jane tells us that the chopper is going to Atlanta, which means we are on the last mission. Time to head to Firesign Stadium to get a chopper for evacuation. Traveling to this location is an automatic success, so even if you have basically no fuel left, it will get you there anyway, which is thumbs up. When we get there, something doesn't seem right. Unfortunately, the military here has become overrun with walkers, but evac is still going through, which gives us a run and gun mission. This mission requires some knowledge of the layout to make it through as quickly as possible. But basically, it's just a mad dash blowing walkers' heads off and dodging grappling attempts in the process. Grabbing the assault rifle, it's time for a montage. Finding a hole in the fence, we crawl underneath it, where we see an evac chopper crash into a clock tower and crash into the ground, causing Daryl to fly backwards onto the floor. We get up to see the wreckage it caused and try to rush to the evac location with only 9 minutes before procedures begin. Shooting some more walkers, we make our way to the field where an abundance of tents are set up, but as all things in this game, it is overrun too. This part is basically a maze, where sections will be cut off due to in-game events cutting off pathways. Reaching the end, a helicopter waits for us with the survivors that we brought along the way, but is having trouble taking off, so we have to defend it from the incoming swarm. Loading up on ammo, we face off against a horde of walkers. When a certain number of walkers are killed, Mel rolls up in a military Humvee, putting us into the shooting gallery part of this mission. Using this turret, Daryl continues to protect the helicopter, killing any walkers that dare approach.
Keep them off me! And keep them off that shot!
After all walkers are killed, we dismount, getting the final cutscene of the game. Mel says that there's a change of plans and that they shouldn't get in the helicopter. Daryl still wants to get on, but before he can, Mel grabs him, and the boys argue, but Mel points out, with his eagle eye, that the pilot was bitten. The boys get into the Humvee, drive away, and have one final heart-to-heart.
Hell, I'm the only man you could ever count on.
Roll credits. The cast of this game has a handful of voice actors, but tell me why Troy Baker and Chris Sabat were part of this game. Troy Baker had already got Joel and Booker DeWitt as roles that same year, and Christopher Sabat had been a part of the Dragon Ball franchise for years before this. What Activision executive had the leverage to book these two for this game? With the credits over, the game is finished. During the time it took to make this video, and playing the game over and over and over again, I would do speedruns from time to time, failing every single one. Until now. Over many months, many attempts, I finally completed a run, finishing the game with no relics, with a time of 47 minutes and 46 seconds, giving me the world record over a total of one person. The person that made the guide. And I'm sure that eventually someone will beat that time, but until then, I hold the record for a game that is super irrelevant. But if anyone that wants to speedrun the game after this video, good luck. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked this video. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I have ideas. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. But thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Check out Activision's new game, The Walking Dead Survival Instinct.
Merle and Daryl,